Well, good morning from a very misty and hopefully warm Cheshire. I've come out early this morning hoping to get some of that lovely bright light we've been having lately, and to that end I'm probably going to be shooting only with black and white. It's going to be a bit harsh, the light this morning, so colour's not going to work very well, but I do have a couple of sheets of colour with me just in case, but I'll probably leave them back in the car. I'm shooting with the 4x5, so a slow morning shoot, but hopefully quite a good one. It really is surprising this time of the morning just how much noise there is from all the animals and wildlife waking up. It's a beautiful time of year to be out. I mean, it's crisp and clear and it's going to be hot later. And I'm really enjoying just being out on my own. The nice thing is, in remote, quiet locations like this, you rarely see anybody else. And that's ideal for landscape photography. Now, don't get me wrong here, I do love nature, but nature's following around this morning. I've been trying to get a shot round some old ponds, and every time I get near them I get this crowd of cows following me around and mooing loudly. I mean, it's one thing having humans putting you off while you're trying to shoot, but cows are another thing, and yeah, they're quite big and quite heavy, and I don't want to take my chances with them, so I might try another composition. Okay, for this image I've set up in a little copse of trees. They're actually out of the sun mainly at the moment, which is nice because the sun is quite harsh. And I've set up with my standard 150mm Nikkor, and I've got a yellow filter on there. As I said earlier, I'm shooting black and white. It seems to suit these woodland conditions. Takes away all the distractions of colour and just, leaves you with that sort of shape and form. I've said it many times before. No movements this time with the camera. I can't tilt it or shift it because the trees are right in front of me, and if I tilt the camera lens, the top of the trees will be out of focus. So it's been quite a straightforward image. 2 seconds at f/22, couple of frames. Fingers crossed it's going to be a good one. before I press on and try and get another image, it's worth mentioning motivation and why I shot the particular image in the first place. I mean, I've been walking around for quite a while, and, you know, all the woodland looks the same, but what I'm trying to do is find something which is isolated and pleasing to the eye. And I know that sounds obvious, we all want pictures to be pleasing to the eye, but I have to find something which is relaxing, calming, and a composition which isn't at odds with itself. I don't want objects pulling out the frame, I don't want objects coming in at strange angles. I want the viewer to be able to go into the image and move their eye around it naturally. So I'm going to cut out distracting sky, I don't want a cluttered foreground, and I want to be able to bring the image through with vignetting maybe and a bit of highlighting in the centre. So it's quite important for me to get something that I think will work before I actually set the camera up, because that's quite a commitment. If I'm shooting digitally, I can take the liberty of making many images. But I just find working this way is far more relaxing and far more satisfying, and I actually think I get better images in the end. Well, I've done a big loop of a walk. It's very bright now. Very difficult to see compositions in this sort of weather. I'm going back on myself. I've done about 2 miles around an area called Peckforton Mere. Quite bland actually, but I'll get back to the woodland area I was shooting earlier. A couple of possible compositions, I'm not sure, but they're definitely better than this. Well, I'm very pleased to say I've come across something to my liking. Now, conditions are harsh, I mean really harsh. It doesn't get much brighter than this, it's absolutely dazzling. It's even got to the point where, for amazing, good old British weather, you'll just excuse me, I've broken out the sun cream. Now, last week I had an umbrella, I had a raincoat, I had all sorts of waterproofs on. This week I'm putting on factor 30. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, back to the shot. It's too bright for conventional work, it's just too harsh, but I did bring infrared film with me. Now, infrared film isn't to everyone's taste, I actually like it. People consider it an effect. Well, it is an effect, and so is black and white. It's just a different variation on black and white. So I've set myself up with a composition I've got in front of me here. I'll just talk you through it. So this is what I'm seeing with my little preview device. Now, this is filmed with a Canon G15 infrared conversion. Had this done a few years ago. I enjoyed shooting digital infrared, but I prefer film. However, this makes an absolutely fantastic preview device. I can see whether the infrared light's going to hit and reflect in the right parts, whether it's going to look balanced or whether I'm going to have too many shadows. No use for doing exposure, I have to do all that manually myself with the film because it behaves quite differently to digital. But this is the ability I've got with this little tool to come out and shoot infrared with some confidence that what goes onto the film will be the best possible result for me. Now, another precaution I took for this shot is to actually cover the little Intrepid with my dark cloth while I was making the exposure. Now, the film holder goes in the side here. I've angled it away from the sun, didn't want it facing the sun. But I'm a bit concerned, it's a fast film, it's an infrared film. I'll probably get some light leakage anyway and might have to crop out around the edge of the frame. But to minimise it, I've covered the film holder during the shot, removed the slide carefully, took the shot, pushed it back in, got it back into the bag and zipped it up quickly. Just an extra precaution, it's well worth making it. Now, the biggest challenge for this scene is getting enough depth of field. I want these lovely branches in the foreground and I want that tree trunk in the background in focus, but there's quite a bit of distance between them, as you can see. Okay, maybe about 20 feet or so, and I'm shooting with a large format camera. That hasn't got much depth of field, especially the standard lens I'm using. So I've gone for a smaller than usual aperture, f32. Had to take a shot at 12 seconds to get enough light in with the R72 infrared filter. And just to be on the safe side, because I really want this shot to come out, I've also shot another frame at f45. Now if that goes a little bit soft due to diffraction, I don't mind, because this is infrared film and I want that soft ethereal look. Some of these branches were actually moving slightly during the exposure. That's not a problem at all. The main thing is I get enough exposure to capture all this lovely glowing foliage and also bring out the shadow detail in the background, so I have the fence posts and some of the root details. I'm sure it's going to be excellent. Right, well that's me done for the morning. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a warm, very warm walk just for a change. I'm going to head off home now, get something to eat for breakfast, have a cup of tea, head out for a walk this afternoon. Not taking a camera this time. I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you again next time.